Ross fly boss. Today we're going to tie a streamer that actually has a lot of its lineage in the Carry Special. I originally tied this fly to fish the Swift Reservoir. I tied it for another individual. It did very well for him. Tied it over a number of years for him. Started fishing it myself, and it has proven to be a very effective streamer pattern, whether dead drift as a steelhead pattern or retrieved like a standard bucktail. But let's go over how I tie it. It's the I start off with a Daiichi 2370 Dictolure streamer hook and fluorescent orange ultra thread in 70 denier. We're going to start our thread even with the point of the hook, right at the back. And just begin it right there. First material you're going to tie in is your rib. I use fine gold tinsel. It's actually dual-sided. Tie it in on the side of the hook. Wrap back over it as far back as I want to go with my body. And then I build a very slender but evenly covered body going forward. We're going to take this body. Now I used to tie this with floss. The original fly was tied with floss, but I really like the way this 70 denier thread lays. So here in the northeast I've started tying it the entire body with the orange thread. And you mainly just want the orange for the color as a hot spot, so if it's not 100% perfect coverage, it doesn't matter, you just want it even. You don't want to build up a body. The next material you're going to tie in is the front portion of the streamer. I take two peacock herl that are pretty much even. I trim the tips off, and then I tie them in as well with the orange ultra thread. I wrap back to meet the orange body, and I bring my thread forward, and I leave it a good full loop, or I just take it into the loop of that eye, and then you're going to bring your two peacock herl forward, one in front of the other. I don't wrap it very tight, meaning the wrap's close together. I bring it forward at a pretty decent rate. I just want the darker thorax, the contrast between the thorax and the tail end of the fly, the orange. And I bring it up to my thread and I tie it off. It's a fairly easy fly to tie. Wherever if you're on any water where you see people doing very well with that are spinner fishing, if they're catching fish on an orange rooster tail, think of it in those terms, then you're going to do just as well with this fly. And you're going to palmer your tinsel, the gold side up, forward, over the body, evenly space it. And you're going to take it up, and as you transition, you just keep on going. Same palmer, right over top of that peacock herl. You want that glint to be the full length. And tie it off. The next material you're going to tie in, and the material that really makes this fly, is a pheasant tail rump feather. You're going to take two of them. They start out looking like this. They'll have a mottled bluish gray tips. Some of them will be rust, some will be a blend of both. And you're going to take them both. You're going to take two matching ones or similar ones, and you're going to strip them down to just the non-webby fibers. And you're going to lay them over each other and line up the tips. They don't have to be perfect, but the fly comes out a lot better if you don't worry about the hackles, the hackle itself or the feather itself. You want to just worry about the tips. Once you got the tips pretty much lined up, measure them against the fly from the tie-in point to a gape length past the bend of the hook. Okay, you want it to extend slightly, but not too much. And I gather them together so they're kept on top. And when you get them positioned where you want them, with a pinch wrap, don't worry about whether or not they stay perfectly on top. You want the hackle stems on top, but don't worry about the fibers because you're going to want them to wrap around. Give a couple security wraps. Make sure you got your length about right. It might be just a hair bit long. There we go. And you're going to pull them back. And you're going to clip off the butt ends. There'll be a substantial butt end, so don't leave too much. Get all those fibers for two feathers. And make sure your hackle stem is on both, are up on top. You can even sweep a few down around and bind them down good. And it'll shroud the hook. The next material you're going to tie in is a fairly large webby hen hackle. This is furnace. You want the black with the gold tips. You're going to tie that in at the beginning of your head and trim it off and capture that whole stem. Now you got a fairly long head, but that's what you want. You're going to see the orange thread between the hackle wraps. Grab your hackle pliers and you'll get it started. You're just going to do one in front of the other. Hang on a minute, I captured my thread. Or I failed to move my thread far enough forward before I started. I'm going to bring your thread to the front of that head portion. And just one in front of the other till you get up to the front. Don't worry about what it looks like right now. It's all going to get swept back. And you're going to clip that butt off. And you're going to capture all the fibers that you can. And you're going to sweep it back and pinch it. And wrap back into it enough to form a small head. And then you're going to whip finish. And then last but not least, drop of Sally Henson's. Lock that head in place. And there it is. The Swift streamer. It's only called the Swift streamer because that's the water that was originally tied to fish. Very similar to some of the roach patterns you'll see. Same material, much of the same material as Carrie Stevens or Carrie Special, and coloration of Max Canyon, Salmon Fly, the Coal Car, all use the black and red, or black and orange. This is a complement to those patterns as well. Those colors do work, but I have found this Western pattern to do very well on both coasts. I hope it adds to your box as it has mine, the Swift streamer. Thank you very much. Good luck. See you in the water.